dad was always like a football fan, right, for Man United, right? But the reason why I became a United fan proper is because of David Beckham. Entire world at that particular time, right? You're talking about all like the other players in the world. David Beckham was my favorite. What's up?
And welcome to our coffee shop. I'm your host, Midek Long, and welcome to another episode of the KopiBros show presented by the Chit Podcast Network. Now, for those of you that are tuning in via YouTube or any sort of podcasting platform, hi again. Thank you so much for giving us a try, for giving us a listen. We're just a Singaporean duo that love
David Beckham. Yes. As you can see, I love him so much that upon that I'm like doing like the old Beckham center part.
Yes.
I find it's a bit too long, so I'm just going to call me back right now.
Yeah. This was his original haircut, right?
His original hair. He always had a center parting like when he was going up through the academy. Yes.
One of many hairstyles that will be featured in this documentary.
Yes.
And I think we'll touch a bit about it later, about him being such a trendsetter. Yep. I'm joined today by my brother and United superfan, also the host of the Futbol Kaki that drops every Wednesday.
Yep.
El, how are you doing? Doing well?
I'm okay. I still got some work to do, but I'm okay. Preparing for a big weekend this week.
Yeah, we have a big weekend. Our cousin is getting married, so we're actually very busy, the two of us. Yeah, but we're going to be going for the wedding. But first off, we actually did watch the Beckham documentary, more or less. Which if you're looking at the thumbnail, you'll know that this week we're going to be talking specifically about that documentary because at the moment it is the hot sort of Netflix show. Wouldn't you agree? It's like everyone's talking about it lah.
It's like okay, I think it's the one thing that people want to see because David Beckham is an icon.
Yes,
and some might say that he's probably an even bigger icon than Michael Jordan. Yeah, so but that some might say, but not necessarily the case. But the thing is that the fact that people want to see into the life of David Beckham actually gives people a lot of interesting perspective. I think it's more towards like he's not just the athlete, he's a celebrity.
Yeah, he's a
celebrity. He's an icon.
Yeah. I would say he's an icon like the fashion field.
Yes,
it's also like an icon in the like pop culture field, and then after that also the sporting field. He's considered an icon lah. We will touch a bit about all the elements when we talk about the documentary itself. But actually, I just want to ask you, all right, considering the fact that you were such a United fan since young, I mean, like our dad supports United, you support United. Somehow they must have dropped me. I support Liverpool.
That was your choice. That wasn't ours. That wasn't on us.
That was a personal decision. But you grew up in this era where Beckham was coming up, right? It was like really when he was at the start of this documentary was about the time where he was like the it guy for United, correct?
Dad was always like a football fan, right, for Man United, right? But the reason why I became a United fan proper is because of David Beckham.
It is, right? Yeah, I was going to ask, so it's like, how big of an impact was it that him specifically was the reason why you love United?
He was my favorite United footballer, right, all the way until the time he left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like he like in the entire world at that particular time, right, you're talking about all like the other players in the world. David Beckham was my favorite. You must understand when you're like 6, 7, 8 years old, which is about the time that I started seeing Beckham, right? Like you don't notice a lot of like how he looks or the fashion sense. You look predominantly at the football. Yeah. And what he does at the stylistic things. So I was never and if for those of you that know me and watch football, I was never really interested in the dribbling. I was never interested in like the quick feet or like the movement. So like Ryan Giggs was the one that we had to do with the quick feet at United. Yeah. I was more into the long range shooting, the passing ability, and the crossing and the free kicks. Yeah. So that's why I ended up like liking David Beckham more lah.
Yeah, and when Beckham left, then that's why you like Scholes, right? Because
yes,
if you know L, right, he supports United first, and then his second team is Madrid.
Yes.
Is it because Beckham went to Madrid, that's why you like support Madrid?
Yes.
Oh, so it's really because
of David Beckham.
Okay, that's the huge influence. And then I guess after that, it's like Ronaldo also went to Madrid. Then it's like it helps you continue your lining of like you like Madrid as your second team lah.
Yes, correct. But also I do think that like I think people understand that when you're older and you watch football, right? Let's say for example when you watch your football when you're 6 versus when you're 14, then versus when you're in your 20s and your 30s, right? You view football very differently.
Yes. Must agree. Yeah.
So the thing is that when Beckham went over to Real Madrid, right? there wasn't a lot of opportunity to watch La Liga,
Yeah.
especially in Singapore, because you're talking about 2004 about this. You ended up watching a lot of Premier League lah.
Yeah.
But when you grow older and you see a lot of YouTube highlights, right? Then you see actually, the Real Madrid team and the way that they played, David Beckham was like well suited for it. It's just that they just had a lot of troubles, which we will get into in this episode lah.
Yeah.
In that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. They had a lot of troubles. As we said that we're going to be talking about this documentary, we're going to do sort of like a bit by bit episode breakdown, and then in fact we'll discuss like overall what's our thoughts about it lah.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, right, I just want to get your general like review. Like what do you think of the documentary in like a very like surface level sort of opinion of the thing?
I love it. I think it's very well done in terms of like getting the stories across, getting the overall cast members together.
Yes, I agree.
And I find that
style of it also, like they could have just done like Simeone was the one that agitated Beckham,
Yes.
but then they actually went to get Simeone in the documentary. Do you know what I mean? It's like to get his perspective.
Correct.
They put all the effort in lah.
Which is a very different style from The Last Dance.
Yes.
Like totally opposite, because they were more like, they talk about Michael Jordan as a character, like he's intimidating and thing. And I feel like this is the documentary that people will compare The Last Dance to. Like, because it's a mini series and it's episodic versus, like, let's say for example, if you watch like other sports documentaries on Netflix, like Schumacher just a movie. It was a bit more coherent in a sense where they weren't really putting David Beckham down, but they were like also not saying that, I don't understand why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't understand like what's going through your head during this lah. It's a very different type of like documentary lah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll dive into the episode and then we'll just talk specifically about the details of every single journey that he had as a footballer. And then I think also people forget, because of how famous he is, how great a footballer he actually was. Yeah,
it's true.
So we will talk about that as we touch on to the episode. Okay, let's put on our number 7 jersey and dive right into the episode. Okay, so now this is going to be an episode by episode breakdown of the full 4-episode documentary. They start out the documentary like most documentaries. They go with the origin story. They go about how he was a footballer, how Sir Alex Ferguson recruited him to go to Manchester United, how Manchester was like his passion and his love lah, because his father was such an avid Manchester United fan. They named the first episode The Goal, right? Correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay, because it is one of, they also used this goal as the starting point to launch the whole documentary, which was his most famous goal by far, I think, which was his halfway line goal. And this goal propelled him to superstardom as a footballer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a combination of a few things, like, okay, his footballing talent, but also his good looks.
Yeah.
So, Al, do you remember this goal at the time?
This is why I became a United fan.
Oh, really? This goal?
Yes, this goal. This exact goal. So the thing is that, like, when the goal happened, right, it was around 1996. So I'm 6 years old. So basically, by counting, you already know how old I am already.
Yeah.
But what happened is that, because Dad used to buy all these like old like Man United like highlight tapes, all the video tapes, everything like that. So there was one day he just put the video tape in, right? Then one of the first goals I saw, right, was that David Beckham halfway line.
Yeah.
And I can always remember like the commentary is like, Beckham saw Sullivan off his line. That type of thing. Like, I think it was Martin. I can't remember what it was it Martin Tyler?
I think so.
I think Martin Tyler, right? So you cannot, like, football is always about like the commentary and the moment itself.
Yes.
So the thing is that
go hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So when you had like Eric Cantona on that team, you had like Ryan Giggs and everybody, right? Then a guy like that just pulls off a shot like this. And Beckham was about 21, I think, at the time.
Yeah, 21, if I'm not wrong.
It takes a lot of like balls.
Yeah. It took a lot of balls. I think it's like you have to have the mentality that you can be very confident the fact that you can do it. And then also it's like, if you screw it up, right, the manager is not the most forgiving person.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, they touched about it on the documentary itself, like someone else tried it on the team and then he just got immediately subbed off. Yeah, it's like, nice try. I also do remember this goal specifically, and I think also, right, like even when I was watching it with my mother-in-law, she was saying like, oh yeah, this is the famous like halfway line goal. Then she's like, even my mother-in-law who doesn't watch football like remembers that Beckham has this iconic goal.
Yeah. People must understand, right? That's not a shot.
Yeah.
It's a very long pass.
Yes.
You have to have a decent or strong enough long passing range capability to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to be able to be accurate enough to pull the trajectory. That's why it's so hard to do, because people that try, they are trying to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to do it right, but like people like Wayne Rooney, David Beckham, so their passing capability is so easy to a point that like they know the trajectory, they know how much to shoot the ball, they know how much power to float the ball and everything like that.
Another part of this episode, right, the first episode specifically, is that they introduce the relationship that he has with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Just by judging from this, right? Because I also watched the other documentary, which is the Class of 92, correct?
Yeah.
I can tell that Beckham was Sir Alex Ferguson's favourite.
Yes.
Quite obvious, right?
Very obviously.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly because you must understand, I think, okay, to explain the Class of 92. So the Class of 92 was David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Nicky Butt. So there's the 6 of them. They are the ones that actually propelled Man United to become better after a lot of the big names like Mark Hughes, Paul Ince all left the club.
Yeah.
So the thing is that of those 6, the one that is not local, right, is David Beckham.
Yeah, he's not local.
He's not local. Ryan Giggs is Welsh, but he is also technically a bit more local than David Beckham lah.
Yes.
David Beckham, right? So for a lot of them, right, it's like, okay, I want to play for Man United because it's where it is.
My hometown.
Yeah, in hometown, right? And then Ryan Giggs nearly went to Man City lah.
Yeah.
Thank God he didn't. But
Okay.
but for David Beckham, right, he was handpicked to go over.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I feel. So the thing is that when he's about that age, I think he was probably maybe just about maybe 11 or 12 or 13, about that age, like that.
Yeah.
When you're handpicked by the manager of the first team, right, like the manager of Manchester United, right, that manager sees something in you that he wants to nurture.
Yes.
Because it's a hand-picked selection. It's not like, oh, I saw a scout came, recommended it to Fergie signs off and it goes over, which does happen at United at the time. But is he hand-picked David Beckham? To Fergie, he has a responsibility to take care of this boy.
Yes, I understand. I understand what I mean. It's like, you are my gem, or you're like my hidden gem. And then even if you are successful, right, it also means that I'm successful because I'm the one that picked you. I also think Beckham was not the first one to break through, right, from the Class of 92.
No, it was Giggs.
It was Giggs, right? Yeah.
It was Giggs.
Another thing also that they introduced, right, at the outset also, as Beckham became a star, was that when, there's Becks, there's also Posh. I mean, like, it's very undoubted. You have to talk about Victoria Beckham in this whole series because Beckham famously, right, he was a football star. Yeah. And then Posh was the one that made him into like the
celebrity.
Yeah, a celebrity because it became more than football. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. How do you find that sort of integrate like the relationship between the two of them? I thought it was quite sweet actually at first. I
mean, like, if you know, I find that I've got no comments about it because to me, right, if a guy likes a girl, he should always have the opportunity to pursue the girl that he wants. That to me is just fair lah. It's whether or not they have whether it's a reciprocal thing. That's entirely up to the thing. But the thing is that because for this relationship it was reciprocal. Yeah. And he knew what he wanted, right? Nothing wrong with it lah. To me lah, in my eyes lah.
Maybe okay. So they do touch about this a bit later, right? But I think Sir Alex, right, he noticed that Beckham, he has celebrity tendencies already before he even met Posh because he would spend money on lavish things or he like get sponsorships, then he will spend money. I mean, they touched on it in the documentary, like got 50,000, he spent 50,000 go and buy a car and Porsche and stuff like that lah. I think that when he was with Posh, right, that Posh really opened that doorway to be like, okay, if you want to go and be a celebrity, right, this is how you do it. Like, or like, this is how you become trendy in the fashion sense and all that lah. And then it sort of slowly built a division between her and Sir Alex because that is the ideological difference because he wants a disciplined office, like a locker, and then I guess Posh was like, you can be more than just a footballer. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. But this is where I disagree with Alex Ferguson. Because my whole thing and the issue where I see with Fergie, right, is because when you're talking about this particular situation, right, and you're talking about the documentary episode as a whole, right? Yeah. They have never ever, and I mean this, right, they have never ever shown that or stated that Victoria actually ever talked to Sir Alex. How can you make an informed judgment about a person that you've actually never had a proper conversation with? Yeah. That's the thing that I find it very hard to really like see and this whole strategy. So I don't really know whether this was like a propaganda thing where they were to basically show the rivalry between Posh and Sir Alex, where David Beckham's caught in the middle, right? Or if let's say it's really a thing, because to me, from what I saw in the show, it looked like these are rationale or like formalities or stories that Sir Alex put in his head.
Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, she's poisoning him, or like she's like,
to do it on purpose, because essentially, right, he's losing control over a player.
Yeah,
that he considers his son.
Yeah,
and it's his player.
Yeah, his player. Yeah,
correct.
And then they did show like there'll be first issues, right, when Sir Alex and Beckham didn't agree on signing the agent, which is something they touched on. I don't know much about the fine details of this, right? But do you actually know what is the details?
Okay, I don't really know a lot of it,
yeah,
but it sounds like something Sir Alex would do.
It's a common thing, right? Yeah.
It's a very common thing, because the thing is that if you... Okay, I find that not a lot of people have this kind of like purview of Sir Alex Ferguson, where he's like, oh, he's the greatest manager of all time.
Yeah.
Like, he's good football, he's good everything and that, right? But people don't understand, right, how much of a general he is in the back.
Yeah.
How much of control he has at Manchester United, the influence that he has as a manager at the club.
Yeah.
So the thing is that you must understand, at that particular point when the whole thing was going on, right, Fergie had already won about maybe 3 or 4 Premier League trophies already.
Yeah.
And it's the first time in don't know how long that Man United won a title in 92-93 lah.
Yeah.
So if you're the manager that brought back glory to Manchester United after so long, there is going to be bound to be like I won't say like you're God, but there's going to be something where you're close to it. His whole thing is, okay, since I'm in control, right, I need to keep all the players that I want. I need to keep the guys in the way I want. But the thing is that the easiest way for me to do this is to get them to behave. So he would, if you see the documentary, right, he would he would like pay money to bouncers at clubs to go and stop the players from like going into the thing, or like they report back, then he'll go there and he'll find the player.
Yeah.
Or he will like call, or he will like try to find out like from different people and say, where are you?
Yes.
I heard that you were here or something like that. So the players are always scared because they know that the manager has an eye on them. So a lot of them conform and a lot of them go against.
Yeah.
Go against. So it's a very unique situation in a sense. So when David Beckham, you go against the manager, right? It's taboo.
I think when it goes to episode 3, then you really get to see like the Sir Alex side of it But before they end off this episode, right, episode 1, they also touch upon the infamous thing that that will lead into episode 2, which was the whole kick with Simeone in the England game that made him become a global, like not say global England's villain, like the scapegoat I didn't understand the extent of like how much he got hammered. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, right, I can't really remember. All I remember was the Michael Owen goal.
Yes. Okay. So
and the penalty shootout. That's what I predominantly remember.
Yes. Yeah. But they okay. Yeah. And then the thing is that Owen goal, right, is lost in the game. Yeah. Everyone remembers that. But that Owen goal was a damn nuts goal.
Yeah. He dribbled past like don't know how many players right from the halfway line, then just push it and scored. Yeah. It was a brilliant goal.
Yeah. It was a brilliant goal. I guess that was one of the things that made me become a Liverpool fan. He's gonna Michael Owen. Yeah, I hate him now. But okay, so after he scored that unreal goal, right, to give some context for this particular tackle, Simeone did like a little dirty move on him, and then Beckham sort of like kicked out like he did a kick. Do you think it was a red card?
When you kick out at somebody, it's always a red.
Oh, so you feel it's always a red card?
I always find that there are certain things, right, that no matter what you do, right, it will always be a red card. Like if you elbow the person, you punch the person, or you intentionally kick out. This
is when they sort of they cut over to the episode. It's like, okay, the game ended, and then after that, he went off. They got knocked out. Then after that, some of them were booing him at the airport, but he didn't understand the magnitude that he was going to get hated
Yes.
Which is when we're going to dive into episode 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So they show like after Beckham come back from the World Cup, right? He gets like absolutely crucified in the media. He gets like, he's like, oh, the England scapegoat. To the extent it's like at bars, all this, right? They really like hang his like dummy noose outside the bar and stuff like that. The takeaway that I had, right, is that I absolutely cannot stand Glenn Hoddle.
I cannot. I couldn't do it also.
Yeah. I felt very like wronged as a manager because I mean, like, you've seen Sir Alex all your life. Now I'm seeing Klopp, the way that he handles the team and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what, they will protect the player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I felt this was very disgraceful for a manager to do, Glenn Hoddle, which is like, he just threw Beckham under the bus and made him the scapegoat.
In football, anything can happen, right? A red card can be the cause of defeat. or it can be the cost of basically a turnaround where basically you, instead of winning a game, you draw.
Yeah.
Or something like that, right? So the thing is that a lot of people forget, right? Yes, David Beckham lashed out, he kicked, England were down to 10 men. You all went to penalties. You could have won.
Yeah, you could have won. Yeah.
You could have won. So the thing is that, like, a penalty shootout, right, is really entirely on the player's shoulders already.
Yeah, correct.
Player's shoulder, right? So if, let's say, for example, Argentina had won the game after extra time, okay, fair, you can blame David Beckham.
Yeah.
But the thing is that England had the opportunity to go through without David Beckham.
Yeah.
You could have won on penalties, but you didn't. So the thing is that to me, it looked like all the English fans were looking for somebody to blame. And the one thing that everybody saw was a red card.
There was an insane level of scrutiny and punishment that he had to go through. I think even Victoria spoke about in the documentary that he was heavily depressed throughout the whole season. It was really a struggle for him.
Correct.
But this is where you get to see the brilliance of Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. Because for him, it's like, Beckham, I know that you went through this thing. We have our rift with this manager, right? But you're still my player.
Yes.
Yeah. And no matter what, right, I will still protect you as my player.
It's how it should be handled, right? But it's the reason why Man United fans love Man United.
Yeah.
Because you must understand, and also find that it's the reason why Liverpool fans love Liverpool. It's because, right, we are the only ones whereby if you do something wrong outside, don't worry, we got your back. It's Man United is Man United because we remember the bad times, but we also keep with you during the bad times.
I feel that Sir Alex, he created an environment where they protected him. Like they really, And then he was very, like, Beckham, you don't need to do the interviews, I'll do the interviews. Or like the captain will go and handle the interviews. So he put him into the back burner, and then he just focused on playing football. The fans were really brutal to him, lah. Like the amount of cheering, the amount of like jeering they did to Posh and stuff like that, lah. But what to do that is English football.
Correct. And the thing is
that is really bad, lah.
But it also gives you an insight to the mentality of David Beckham.
Yes, correct.
How strong he is mentally. Because Phil never say any other footballer they were broke.
Hard work. I just put my feet to where I play as best as I can.
Yeah.
Beckham also, right, during this period was the year just nice that they won the treble. United won all three trophies. Can you remember, did he play a huge part to it? Like,
oh, definitely 100%.
He did, lah. Yeah, it's in throughout the whole season and stuff like that, lah.
If you if you really think about it, right, like he scored the goal that got them back into the semi-final.
Oh yeah,
FA Cup semi-final.
FA Cup semi-final.
He scored the goal that got them back into the game, into the last game of the season where they won the league.
Yes.
Yeah, ending right. And then he scored, and he was the one that gave the two corners that led to the goals, victory, the two goals into the thing, right? So the three key moments are of that people remember about that particular season. If you take out the FA Cup final, for example, right? Beckham got you back into the game that you could have lost in the FA Cup semi-final. He got you back into a game where you could have literally lost the title on the day itself.
Yeah.
Against Spurs. And then he did the two corners, right? To a point where without those two corners, without his precision, those two goals would never happen. If you were to put rankings and take those two corners, right, I don't think Man United would have won that final.
Yeah, no way. As you go through that whole treble season, right, and then they do that very nice sort of montage clip of like him going to the Bayern Munich corner. Then they show flashbacks of him as a kid taking those corners and his father's like drilling him to go and take all these things, right? I think we gotta talk about the fact, right? Beckham, you forget, right? He's the best dead ball specialist ever, no? Ever, like. I think it's not even close, like. The corners, the crossing, the free kicks, it was really like, especially watch this documentary, right? They just show him just like non-stop crosses, beautiful crosses, the whole game. And stuff like that, lah. Yeah. I even went back to go and watch the highlights of like his best crosses. I'm like, wow, some of these, like the spin on the ball, the trajectory of the curve, right? Is like them mad.
But me and Paul, right, like okay, so for those of you who don't know, Paul is a fellow KopiBros. He's my good friend, our good friend.
Also fellow United fan.
Yeah, fellow United fan also, right? Like, to me, right, the greatest cross that David Beckham ever did, right, was at Real Madrid. It was at Man United.
Yeah, it was the one to Ronaldo, right?
The run to Ronaldo, right, where he's like literally almost at the halfway line right at the corner, right. He pings the ball, right, so precise and deep, right, and curls right to the middle of the box, right, where all Ronaldo had to do was literally stick his foot out and then score.
Yeah.
You know how insane or how hard that is or not? Like, people can loft the ball straight up and drop. He had to curl it.
Yeah.
He curled it right to a point where it's pinpoint precision and no margin for error right at his foot.
Yeah, insane. I think that's why there's the term also is like bending like Beckham, really. Because there's no one else can bend the football like him. It was beautiful to go and see like there was a redemption, like so not say redemption, it's like he managed to pull off with Sir Alex like an incredible season where they won Treble and stuff like that. They end off the episode by showing like Victoria and David, they got married.
Yeah.
So they briefly mentioned at the end though that Sir Alex Ferguson did not like Victoria Beckham, correct?
Yeah, which is what I've said my piece about that earlier.
Yeah. So they use that as the sort of like stepping stone to link into the episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this episode 3, right, is where we get to see the conflict start to rise with Sir Alex Ferguson and David Beckham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now, do you feel that, because they did show, right, that Beckham was starting to get stubborn and more rebellious,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that if Posh wasn't there, he would be this way?
No.
No, right. I also feel he wouldn't have done that.
I think it would have been, there would have been traits and bits of it.
Yes.
I don't think it would have been magnified to that extent. David Beckham loves his wife so much.
Yes, it's very obvious.
It's very obvious one. Like, he loves Victoria Beckham a lot. Like, really a lot. Like, if you ask anybody, right, he would the gun come out, he immediately take the bullet for Victoria without question. Don't even need to think. That's David Beckham. So the thing is that he will always heed advice from Victoria.
Yes.
But the thing is that I find the worlds that they both come from are very different.
Yes.
So the understanding and the context is that David Beckham wants a life outside of football.
Yes.
Sir Alex Ferguson wants him to focus on football.
And I guess the advice that Victoria was giving him would have been good if you were trying to be an individualistic person.
Yes.
But it's not ideal for a sports team,
No,
like
it's
a
not.
team-centric thing.
Correct. And especially Manchester United.
Yeah. And especially under Sir Alex Ferguson.
Under Sir Alex Ferguson, no way.
No way. There was a lot of talking points, like specifically like of him getting more rebellious, starting to talk back to Sir Alex Ferguson. There was a clip also of like, hey, like, take off your hat, and he doesn't want to take off his hat. Yeah, because he ended up doing all these like ridiculous hairstyles, like a mohawk, then the cornrows and stuff like that, the botak. And I also think because like Sir Alex, right, he wants it very like, it's a team, it's a general thing, right? If I have one team, right, that everyone, they look uniform, they all look the same, right? And then there's one person that sticks out like that, right? It does sort of, in the public image, they'll be like, everyone's just focusing on Beckham, they're not focusing on just the whole team. I think they touched on this small bit of like, very, very interesting point is that how influential Beckham is as a like fashion icon or fashion star. Like really, they shave his head, right? Then all the kids, they all started shaving their heads when they went to school. Yeah. I can remember like all of his haircuts. Like, that's how popular he was at the time.
He has never had a bad haircut other than the mohawk and the cornrows. I will say this.
Actually, to be honest, right, he doesn't look that bad with the cornrows.
No, but the thing is that like, to be honest, a white man doesn't suit cornrows.
Yeah.
Like you have to be an African American to pull it off, or like a black man to be able to pull off cornrows properly.
Okay, then they go into the redemption arc of David Beckham, which was when he became the England captain.
Yep.
During the qualifiers, and he had an unreal performance to get England into the World Cup against Greece. I went back to watch the whole game because of the documentary.
I watched it also, but I watched it after Class of 92.
Okay.
So I watched that whole thing. It's like the whole England team played badly,
except him.
Except David Beckham. Like, you could see like he was the one that willed England to the World Cup.
Yeah, and he was trying every single thing. He was like, I'm gonna ping the long ball here. Okay, it doesn't work. I'm gonna ping a true ball here. It doesn't work. But he tried everything.
Then if I lose the ball, I'm gonna try to win the ball back to go and create something on the other side.
You can say what you want. Like, he has a celebrity side to him, right? But football, he always takes it very seriously, lah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the argument, right, throughout the documentary was that like, oh, he's a celebrity, he's not focusing on football. And I think this is an argument that we put on a lot of footballers, like for instance, like Pogba. I think Roy Keane also said it, right? He never felt once that Beckham didn't perform when he played football.
Yeah.
It's like, he's a celebrity, yes. He likes to spend money on things, yes. But he never slacked during practice. He never not worked hard in the game. Yeah, so he scored that free kick winner, which was an unreal goal. It was a really beautiful free kick. Trademark David Beckham. And then when he got to celebrate And then you can feel when you watch it, you did feel like, oh yeah, the weight of the burden of the amount of hatred that he got from the England fans like really just left lah. Then everyone, the whole of England was like, oh yeah, he saved us lah. Like,
yeah, and you must understand, right, for him, it's like to become from the most hated man in England, right?
Yeah.
To the guy that saved England,
yeah,
it's like a redemption arc that you cannot write in like anything one.
And I think it also speaks about how fickle because football fans can be.
Yeah.
It's like 1 minute we hate you, 1 minute we love you. Yeah, it's very extreme lah. Yes, yeah. Okay, then they dive after that game, right, into the point where they sort of knew that Beckham might leave, which was when they played Real Madrid, and then after that they talked about Ronaldo, R9, like completely ripping them.
Oh,
yeah. Which I to this day remember he played an unreal game lah. Like he one person, played a disgustingly good game. And then they touched on it. Zidane went over and then more or less recruited Beckham lah. Like, hey, when are you coming over to Real Madrid? Eventually, the tension between him and Sir Alex was like or maybe untenable. Yeah. And then they felt that they should sell him. I forgot that they were going to sell him to Barca and not Real Madrid.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that also.
Yeah.
I 100% totally forgot. I forgot about that also. When David Beckham got sold, there was a need to replace a player. So there were talks about Man United's new number 7 being Ronaldinho. So Ronaldinho was still at PSG.
Yes, okay, correct.
So Ronaldinho was still at PSG. In the end, Man United went to get Cristiano, right? Then Barcelona went to get Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, it worked out for everyone lah.
It worked out for everybody lah.
Yeah. In their own way, everyone got like a good deal lah. Do you feel that it was the right decision for Sir Alex to sell him?
Yes.
Because he was becoming too big, right?
No, I find that it's because it would have just gotten to a point where like Sir Alex Ferguson would be putting a lot of stories in his own head about things that may or may not have been true.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is that like Sir Alex Ferguson, right, he's already made up his mind that he's not going to sell, that when he sells a player or when he doesn't want you, you're gone. There's no qualms about it. You are done. You're talking about the guy, right, that had Yep Stem in his prime, and because of what Yep Stem said in a book about his boss, right, he got sold.
Yeah, Roy Keane.
Roy Keane, the captain of the club, made some comments on an unaired interview, right? The next thing you know, he sold. David Beckham didn't get sold at that point in time. He would have been sold sooner or later.
I agree.
Because in the mind of Sir Alex Ferguson, he's already made up his mind that Beckham, you're gone.
Insane. Discipline of a manager, and you got to stand by your morals and your ethics lah. I mean, like, it's true. Okay, so eventually Beckham goes to Madrid. He's part of this Galacticos thing, which is like an insane amount of like, it's the Avengers of football lah. They just anyhow put people. I gotta say first off that it was a tactical mess. Like,
what? How many managers?
Yeah, like 5 or 4 or 5, right? Yeah,
4 or 5 in like what thing? Then it wasn't like all their sack. Was that we have accepted his resignation.
Yeah. But that team was unreal in terms of talent. Like they had like Carlos, Figo, Ronaldo, Zidane, Makelele, Beckham. Yeah,
I'm shocked that this team didn't win the Champions League.
Yeah, Raul. Yeah, they had a lot of stars.
Raul Guti, Salgado.
Yeah,
Hierro. All of these guys are big stars. Like McManaman. All of them are not. They're not slouchers, guys.
Yeah,
this is like a star-studded team.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't find the right balance of like the whole thing, because
I think they didn't find the right
policy
manager.
Wasn't they didn't get the right manager. And I felt the transfer policy was not to try to build a team, it's try to build like business marketing lah. Yeah, I mean like you can get good players, but you still need to feed them properly lah. That's what. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, in the end also they link over to episode 4, which is like after he went to Real Madrid. They didn't really win anything. I forgot. Yeah, like you said, right, how many managers they fired. Eventually they settled on Capello. Yep. And then they talk about halfway his last season, he decided to go to the MLS mid-season, and then Capello and Madrid more or less like forced him to train on his own lah. So at this time, I think the narrative was sort of like, wow, Beckham, you are like throwing your career away. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to the MLS, you're in Madrid, and then you don't even get a chance to play. Yeah, all the Galacticos left already. But I think that they show his mental toughness in this position.
Yes.
Because he worked hard, he came into practice every day.
On time.
On time. He trained hard. He did all of the drills, all this.
Never complain.
Never complain, right? He was so professional. And I think it goes back to like saying that, yes, Beckham, he really took football seriously. Like there are other things that he didn't take seriously, but he always took football seriously.
Yeah.
And then this work ethic sort of brought him back into the team because like Roberto Carlos and the rest of the team are like, hey, come on lah, like,
Yeah.
yeah, we need him to go and try. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And then eventually they won the La Liga in the last season there. Yeah. Yeah. Without Zidane, without Ronaldo, without any of the big players lah. I think the only stars that were left was like Carlos, Casillas, and Raul.
And then you got a growing Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, growing Sergio Ramos. Yeah. I agree. Cannavaro, I think.
Cannavaro was there.
Yeah, Cannavaro was there also. And then he decides like, okay, like Real Madrid, they were like, okay, hey, why not just give it one more chance? I mean, like, you already showed that you can still play football. He makes a decision to go to the MLS. If you watch this documentary, right, it paints MLS in such a bad light because the players are so dog shit, horrible. Yeah. So basically, right, they showed like there's a $13,000 a year cap for the footballers, aside from one or two players. Yeah, so that's why they were like, some of them, like, they have part-time jobs. And it was just really very bad. Do you think that overall it was a good decision for him to go to the MLS?
I mean, you're taking a big risk. And you must understand that, like, this is about 2000 and... Was it 2009, 2010?
Yeah, I think so, around there. Yeah.
2000 and... What? 2006, 2007 there, about that period.
I think 2008.
About 2008 lah. So MLS, right, is very different from the MLS you see Messi in now.
Yeah.
Very, very, very different.
Yeah.
Everybody, right, at that time, I thought MLS was a joke.
It was a joke.
Yes.
So the football pitch is falling apart. It's like there's an American football pitch.
Right. So for people that want to defend MLS about it now, right, you must understand, you must see in the context of where it was when the decision for David Beckham to go to MLS was.
Yeah.
He made. Essentially, I do think, right, that David Beckham made the MLS what the MLS is.
Which is quite interesting. Right? I thought of the parallels to Cristiano. Like, it's really the same, very similar. Like, Cristiano, Man United to Madrid. Then after Madrid, he went to Juventus, then went back to Man United. But then now he's doing his own thing in the Saudi. He's trying to propel that league. When he went to the MLS, they did show like Victoria was very happy in the US.
I mean, definitely lah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of, it was very difficult for them in Spain, like the whole like language barrier, the moving from England to there. After that,
and the only media in a country that is worse than England is Spain.
Yeah, equally as bad. Yeah, because they're more tactical and yeah, it's like they insult you, but then they also be more tactical than the English one. The English one, they just find a narrative lah. Yeah. He gets an itch to leave MLS. He goes to Milan for a stint. They don't make it permanent, so he goes back to the MLS. He spends about 4 or 5 years there, and then they go back to England, and then he goes to PSG one more time for his last move, and then he more or less retires lah. It was quite touching to see when he retired the last game, how much it affected him emotionally to like be on the last time that he could play. Because I guess that showed right at the end like how much he really loved football. Like,
he loves football.
Yeah, he really loves football lah. Yeah, and then I think overall, in hindsight, right, the MLS move was a good thing because in the end he got a team out of it. Because in the contract that he did, right, they gave him a team. They gave him the rights to be able to go and create a team. So he ended up having Inter Miami. And then they show at the end Messi like coming out, going to Inter Miami. So it's like a full round circle thing. I just want to ask you, right, do you feel that Beckham had the best career he could have had? Or do you feel that he could have done more?
The only decision he actually had, right, in a footballing limelight was going to Man United as a kid and going to MLS. He had no hand in Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like very little. Because they forced him out.
Yeah.
So if you're going to force him out, I got no choice. So the thing is that if you're basing it on that light, right, like, I can't really see Man United where David Beckham was there after 2004. And I cannot envision a chance, right, where David Beckham, right, would have started over Cristiano Ronaldo on the right side. So if you're looking in that context, right, it's very difficult to say whether he would have had a better career.
Yeah.
But at Real Madrid, the circumstances didn't suit him lah. I think it's just unfortunate at the fact that at that time, Real Madrid was just a ball of like...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to call it lah. Like, just a ball that is just like, I cut one string, I cut another string, then the thing just becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
I think, to be honest, as a footballing talent, his highs were good. I think that he could have achieved more if he was at United a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he could have achieved more. I think overall, right, if you ask him, would you change the experience of this whole thing? I think he would still want to go through his career that he did.
Yes,
Because now, if you look at it in hindsight, right, he is bigger than like, how to say, he doesn't need Man United to be relevant. He doesn't need Madrid to be relevant.
Yeah.
He's bigger than football.
He's a brand.
People that don't watch football know David Beckham.
No, you know David Beckham. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like if you mention David Beckham to somebody, right, who's never watched Man United before, who's never watched football before, you know exactly who David Beckham is.
Yes.
If you go to somebody, it's like, oh, you never watched football, you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing where he doesn't need the association with Man United to stay relevant.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so if you think about it, right? Like I can say like Johan Cruyff, I can say Zidane, I can say all these players, right? But a normal person, right, they will not know who is all these players. Yeah. But they will still know who is David Beckham.
So the fact that he's able to sustain his like stardom, right, and his celebrity and his business acumen and everything like that, to a point where like he can live and survive without football.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about David Beckham the man rather than David Beckham the footballer.
Yeah. Plus his net worth, I think it's a lot lah. Now I saw it was like I think close to 500 million stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like in the end, just to conclude it off, L, how would you sort of like rate this whole documentary? Like maybe a grade A, B, C, D. Like
I will give it like, okay, are we talking pluses and minuses?
Yeah, pluses, minuses.
I will give it a A. I won't go to a point where it's an A plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a A minus for me. Yeah.
I would say it's an A. So let's say you're talking A, probably maybe about a scale of 1 to 10, about 9.5. 9 to 9.5, like about that. Because I find that in terms of watching documentaries, and the thing is that both of us watch a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, a lot of sports documentaries also. Yeah.
We watch a lot, right? And a lot of the sports documentaries, right, they have the same type of format, the same type of tale. It's like, it's like your beginnings, your triumphs, your victories, then what do you do after that?
Yeah.
Like what everything like that, right? This follows the exact same formula, right? Just that the thing is that it was well done in a sense where you understand the man.
Yeah.
You understand the teammate, you understand the heartbreak, you understand the pain, you understand everything. So it gives you insight to the person rather than like some documents is just like, it just shows you like his whole career.
Yeah, achievements lah. Yeah lah. But
achievements.
But you get the gist of like him as a person. Yeah.
Correct.
On top of his career. Yeah. I think for me, I would give it an A minus. It's not the best documentary I've watched, but it's a really very good documentary.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be very good for people that are watching that are curious to go and like, if you're a bit hesitant because it's a sport documentary, I still think you should give it a try because it's not there's sporting elements to it, but they really focus on him. So they focus on him, they focus on the people that are involved in his life. Which is very good, very interesting.
It's not, and I agree, it's not a sports documentary. It's a biographical documentary. Yeah,
biopic like a bio documentary.
Documentary is a bio documentary. Whereas like if you're comparing last time it's a sports documentary. Before we end, right, I gotta say something like the first ever jersey I got with a proper number.
Yeah,
was David Beckham.
Yeah,
the 1998 jersey.
Yeah.
With the Beckham 7.
Yeah,
on the back of the jersey.
The collar. Right?
The collar of the white color collar. The one where they won the EPL jersey where they won the treble. That was my first like jersey with a number.
Okay, quick question before we end. You are not allowed to explain or elaborate, right? Do you love Ronaldo or Beckham more?
Oh, Beckham.
Okay, we're gonna end it here. That was our David Beckham documentary review.
Get out of here.
Oh, look at the time. The coffee shop is closing. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember to give it a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. We have episodes that drops every Monday. But in the same time, also, if you're into football, we have the Futbol Kaki that drops every Wednesday with Eldad. He's the host there. And after that, Paul and Jordan also. Also, if you're into fun game show formats, we have the SG Draft podcast that drops every Friday. And also, if you're into fun knockout tournaments on Instagram, we have a weekly tournament poll that goes up every Monday to Thursday where we do a round robin format where we knock out different things based on this week's episode. I think we'll do something a bit fun related to football and Beckham. So you just stay tuned for that, right? It would be very rare that we do a football tournament poll. Yeah, on Instagram stories. So head over to our Instagram stories to go and vote. Okay, hopefully every one of you, right, you're going to give it a chance, go and watch this Netflix Beckham documentary. But remember,
a Kopi a day keeps your troubles away.
if you want to be my lover, you gotta
Get with my friends.